South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson says there will be a speedy effort to retry Alec Murdaugh for the shooting deaths of his wife and youngest son. Wednesday, South Carolina Supreme Court unanimously voted to overturn his 2023 convictions and life prison sentence.
The ruling means prosecutors must present their case all over again. The court's decision centered on the actions of the county clerk assigned to the case, Becky Hill, saying that she tampered with the jury. Murdaugh will remain in prison, serving time for other financial crime convictions.
Yeah, joining us now, our chief analyst, Khalif Rhodes, to talk about this more. Khalif, Andy and I were talking about, we've seen this show, we've seen the documentaries, don't really want to go through it again, but here we are. How is this going to go? Because, I mean, the facts haven't changed, right? We're just hoping that we don't have tampering done.
Yeah, the facts have not changed, but the legal, the way that they will move forward with this, both on the defense side and the prosecution side, their strategy will change significantly. First of all, you won't have the tampering happening on the back end of it, and we make a light of it and laugh about it, but this is not a laughing matter. No judge wants to have their case overturned. Every judge that I've ever clerked for, worked for, been around in my trials is extremely adamant about everything that the jury learns must come from me. I will give them the rules. It won't come from some outside source. They want all the witness information to come in front of the courtroom. And so if you have someone in the background saying, watch his body language, don't trust him, okay, this is a big day, the things he say there, don't be fooled by. Well, that's now you have persuaded these jurors to not listen to a witness that's fighting for his life to determine if he will go to prison forever. So, yes, this was crucial because you want to make sure that you're fair and impartial. And when looking at the unanimous decision by the Supreme Court, it followed what the rule of law requires. That, yes, we contemplate that this will be a long new trial. It will be expensive. Yes, we will have to pay for this all over again. But justice not only requires it, but it demands it, because if we're going to be a system of laws and rules, one of them is that you have an opportunity to a fair and impartial jury. And so what will be new is at least it will be a fair and impartial jury, and there will be some things that won't be added back to this case.
That will not be added back? Okay, so can you go into that and what we may or may not hear if this goes to a retrial?
Part of it is the financial crimes. They went a very, very deep dive on the financial crimes. And I mean, in the rules of evidence is that whole class in law school. But the biggest way I can describe this is that attempting to introduce evidence, you want to make sure that it's going to be more probative than prejudicial. And his defense team hit on a number of things that they talked about with his financial crimes that the court said, look, they were allowed to bring that in, but there were about 2 or 3 pages that the court said, hey, these things that you guys introduced, that you talked about, you as in the prosecutor, you shouldn't have been. This was extremely prejudicial. It didn't make any sense why this was allowed to be brought in on the trial court level. And because of that, going forward, when we remand this, send this back to the lower court to do it all over again, you're not going to be allowed to bring those types of things in there. And they were doing that because they were saying because he was, this is his motive.
Right.
We're going to say he was connected to trying to drain all these people's accounts because he was on drugs and he needed this money, and that was the motive to do some of these other things. Well, some of the financial crimes will come in, but some of the other ones won't. But looking at the standard for the overarching decision on why they allowed this case to come back was less about the financial crimes or more about the jury tampering for sure. Becky Hill, as they said, had her fingers on the scales of justice and wanted to have to make a determination of what happened, as her book says, behind the doors of justice. She was working hard.
Khalif, one of the interesting things that I saw come out in the interviews is that the money is dried up. So for his defense team, they talked about, look, we're not worried about getting paid, but the money to hire expert witnesses, that costs money. It's around $500,000 they spent on the first trial there. Will that impact their ability to bring their case forward this time around?
Yes and no. I mean, and so if he is truly indigent, right, there's indigent defense funds that are available for individuals across the country. There is a constitutional right to be able to provide an adequate defense for individuals in cases where they can't provide it for themselves. And part of that defense will go to attorney fees. But the other portion of it, I've had that happen a number of times in my cases, will go to fact investigators. They will go to experts. They will go to forensics. Of all those types of things. The state can pay for that cost, while folks are saying this is going to be a costly second trial that the taxpayers don't want to pay for. Well, if they're saying that his legal defense fund is now, is not there,
right.
The state typically will pay for those types of things, specifically if a defendant can't. And counsel will go into the court and petition and say, hey, Your Honor, my client can't afford this expert witness, but we need it. And historically, the courts have given counsel funds and resources on the state's dime to go out and get those types of experts.
So we're going to pay for
Yeah.
his defense.
Okay.
Well, the South Carolina residents
residents
will
will.
definitely pay for it if he can't afford it. And the Constitution supports that, that if the state is going to have their resources paid for, an individual that needs these type of experts to defend themselves should have the right to do that as well.
A lot of questions still up in the air. And unfortunately, though, Khalif, we are out of time, so I'll have to pick your brain on commercial break.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.